Last week we needed some extra seats for a discussion meeting. In order to keep the cost low, we decided to make them, using our own DeskProto software of course. This proved to be easy as many nice CNC plans for furniture are available on the internet. We bought this banquet stool at cncrouterdesign.com. As you can see, the DXF file still needed some editing, as in the original file the three parts were not efficiently nested. Here I'm going to show you how to create the toolpath in DeskProto. As you will see, that's a very easy process. We'll be using one of the wizards, which makes it easy. You want to use the basic vector machining wizard, as that's what we want to do, basic vector machining. And the first step obviously is to load the DXF file that we want to use. It's on the desktop. Here we are, this is the file that we bought. Here are the three parts to be machined. The total size is about 1 meter by 50 centimeters, so scaling is not needed, rotation is not needed. Z settings are needed. The milling depth needs to be a bit more than the 50 millimeter thickness of the board. I'll make it minus 15 and half. We have on the machine we will have a spoil board below our board, so this half millimeter extra makes sure that our board will be completely machined. Next, the dimensions of the material block, as said, 1 meter by half a meter, but we've cut it a bit larger to make sure that even if the board is not correctly aligned with the true x-axis on the machine, it won't be too small anyway. So we have made 2 centimeter extra on all sides. And obviously the correct thickness needs to be entered as well, 15 millimeters. Here we are. Location of the 0 point here on the corner of the material block and on the top of the block is okay. So we can press next, and these are the most important settings, the actual machining parameters. We want to use a 6 millimeter diameter cutter, a flat tip. Feed rate can be a bit higher, say 2000 millimeters per minute. Spindle speed can be a lot higher, 10,000 RPM, rounds per minute. We want to use profiling, so the cutter will follow the curves, the profile here on the outside, and DeskProto is smart enough to realize that for these holes the cutter needs to move on the inside of the curve. It will do so automatically, so that's okay. We want to use support tabs. Support tabs is a small piece of material that keeps a connection between the part and the rest of the board. Otherwise, while machining, the part would be completely loose and would move while machining. We use custom support tabs, as default will be a bit too many, and we simply click a number of times, and on each blue point a support tab will be added, as we will shortly see. Here we are, and I also want to change the dimensions of each tab. Now it said the height will be half of our board, but that's far too much, 20%. So 3 millimeters high is enough to keep the parts fixed. Okay, I'll close with the OK button. You have to trust me, it's outside the screen now, but it's here, the OK button. So now we've set the support tabs, and final step is roughing the layer height. I want to go down in 3 layers. The wood is a bit too hard to do it in one go. So 5.2 millimeters makes nice 3 layers. So we can calculate. Here are the toolpath. Can zoom in a bit. Here you see the support tabs at 20% of the total height. Here the toolpath are on the outside of the curve. Here they're on the inside of the curve, so it all seems okay. Estimated machining time is 12 minutes. Okay, I'll go to next, and the final thing what I can do first is show a simulation. This is what will be machined. What we will machine. Here you see the support tabs, So it looks okay. So the final thing to do is to write the NC program file. Yes, it goes a bit below the block, I know that. We call it stool, and then we have an ISO file that we can send to the machine. Our own milling machine is too small for these parts, so we were happy that we could use the large CNC router of our local fab lab. As you can see, it's called Protospace. You can find it in a building of the University of Applied Sciences. Their router has been made in China, and it works with the Mach 3 control software. The first thing to do is to fixture our slab of plywood on the machine. We did so by simply screwing it down onto the spoil board, using one screw for each of the 4 corners. The next step of the process is to set the 0 point on the top left front corner of the block. Here you can see the Z is 0 being set. And then the milling process can be started. First the holes, then the outer contours. We found that on this machine we could increase the speed to 4000 millimeters per minute with a theoretical machining time of 6.5 minutes. In real life that proved to be 8.5 minutes, as the machine cannot always achieve the prescribed speed. Remember that 3 layers or 3 passes are machined to reach the full depth. The third layer creates the support tabs. After removing the 4 screws, the result can be seen, with all support tabs clearly visible. These then can simply be removed using a chisel, with some sanding for a smooth result. Assembly, as you can see, is very easy. Our compliments for the designer of this elegant small stool. With the 4 stools that we machined, the meeting could now be done while being seated, much more comfortable. Feel free to download the DeskProto software to create your own furniture, or in fact to create any other parts that you need.